All right, welcome everybody. We're having another session about how to make money in real estate, which requires other people's money, which means loans. And so I want to introduce Jodie for those of you that you've not met her before. Jodie Hatano works with the team. If you've got somebody that wants to buy and they need a loan, call Jodie first, and maybe last. We'll see how it goes after that. And so I'm going to let Jodie take it from here. And
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys. I do see a couple of new faces, new names, I should say. Feel free to turn your camera on if you're presentable. Would be nice to see your face. But anyway, nice to see you guys. Always am happy that you take time out of your day to, get some education, inspiration. It shows that you have a higher commitment level to your career than a lot of real estate agents and even loan officers, right? We're all in this. We do the same thing. But, taking time to grow it can be difficult because we always just want to get out there and call somebody, but it is time or important to take time and grow our partnership, our knowledge base so that we can better serve our clients' needs. And with that, so thank you for being on the call. I want to start out by introducing Brian. He is let me get my slides. You probably don't want to start the slideshow yet, Mike. We'll just talk for a second, then I'll start it. Brian Burt, he is this Vice President of Mortgage Sales for Rocket. I interviewed with him. He hired me. And I wanted him to come on just to kind of give you guys a hello. I know you met Chris last week. She's my direct manager. Chris works with Brian for Brian. And I just want him to come on and say hello to you guys and then to kind of give a little brief, talk about why Rocket Mortgage is local now and what our goals are and what we hope to do with you guys in the future. So Brian, welcome.
Yeah,
thank you for taking a moment to be on the call.
Sure. Thank you. I appreciate it. So for those of you that I've never met, which is most of you, I do appreciate you guys just giving us a little bit of time here. I don't know if you've really encountered Rocket Mortgage ever in your career, previously known as Quicken Loans years ago. I've been fortunate enough to be with the company now for 20 years. So I've spent my whole lending career with Rocket Mortgage. The territory that I work with is pretty much everybody on the west side of the country, actually. So any local loan officer that is from Oklahoma and Texas all the way out to Hawaii and actually up to Alaska is who I have the pleasure of working with and leading. So hopefully we can help your guys' business. The entire purpose of Rocket Mortgage now going local is to bring all the great things we have at a national level and then bring it right into your communities. So now that we have local experts, who Jodie's one of them, obviously, we have folks who do understand your market, who do understand your lingo, your language, the lending laws there. We still have the support of the number one lender in the country. We have the full support of that massive machine from a marketing and lead generation standpoint. And now, again, we're able to bring it local. So spending 20 years with Rocket Mortgage, I moved out to Phoenix, Arizona, so I'm not far from you guys. I do go out to California quite a bit because of the amount of loan officers that we do have out there. So I'm very familiar with what we're building out there. And again, Rocket's entire purpose is to be able to help your businesses. And I think you're really going to see that through the speed and efficiencies that Rocket Mortgage has, as well as just two things I'll highlight for Jodie is if you guys have ever worked with Rocket Mortgage in the past, we did make a significant change to the local loan officer. So hopefully I don't steal your thunder, Jodie, but the local loan officer gets significantly better pricing. So if you're ever concerned about interest rate, where can I get the best deal? She gets way better pricing than, say, the call center. So if you've ever dealt with that before and your clients are comparing certain things, she will always win. On top of that, she will always win because if you do ever have a client that is ever pre-approved with Rocket Mortgage, I know how the real estate game goes. Your client sends you a few properties. What do you think? I'm looking at buying a house. Next thing you know, they're just messing around online. And then they find, just because of, again, the marketing machine that we are, just within minutes, they're already pre-approved with Rocket Mortgage. A few clicks online and you will find yourself to Rocket Mortgage and your client will find themselves approved. Now, you have a couple of options at that point. One is to say, that's great, you got approved with Rocket Mortgage call center. However, I have somebody I've worked with for years. Let's give them a look. What you can actually do now is say, that's great, you got pre-approved with the call center. However, we have a local representative here. Her name's Jodie. I'd love to introduce you to her. and Jodie can actually take over all of those clients. So she wins any local deal possible. So again, if you guys have ever run into that, trust her. I'm here to support her. I did hire her because I definitely believe in her. And I think she's going to be a great asset to Rocket Mortgage. But if you guys have any questions in the future, please reach out to me. She has my full support of being at the company for 20 years. And I just appreciate the opportunity to say hi. And then Jodie, I'll see you up in Detroit, which is where our headquarters is, if you guys are interested, on Sunday or Monday.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Brian. See you then. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get my screen sharing going here, and we will get started. I think that's
Good work.
hold on. Okay. All good? Everyone can see that?
Great.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. If you're, I'll just say a couple things before I actually hit the slides here. Feel free to scan the QR code there. That's going to take you directly to my website. Save it in your phone for quick reference whenever you're out in the community talking with people. If someone says, "Oh, I want to get pre-approved," easy, quick little link there. Of course, I would rather talk with them first. You know, please don't feel like you ever need to just directly send someone to my website. I actually prefer doing the application myself. I get where technology is going and all that, but I think the human element of it is very important, especially the first conversation and a lot of digging that I need to do to even be able to give someone solid advice. So again, feel free to take them to my website, but know that I encourage you to let's have a call first with them. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is really something that I think is needed in our industry, and I don't see a lot of it. I'm going to talk about alliances and building an alliance between me and you as a real estate agent, me as your trusted lender, and you as an expert real estate agent in your market, and how that will benefit everybody that we come in contact with in a single transaction, from just our relationship to, you know, the buyer, to the title agent, to the insurance agent, even. What we have to do now in this market going forward is we've got to offer a lot more to our clients than just, here's a low interest rate. Here, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars of my commission back for your closing costs. Will you still go with me? You know, we gotta give them more things of value that keep them with us. Because why? Not just because we want to be successful, you and I, and we want to make money. Obviously, that's part of why we do what we do. That's why people work, is to make money, to be able to afford living life in general. But what do we want to do beyond that? Is, and we have a responsibility, is to be the expert in our community for anyone that wants to purchase or refinance, in my case, so that they know that you're the contact to go to. They don't have to wonder anymore who's a real estate agent that I can trust. I don't know, call this guy, this guy, this guy, and then all of a sudden they've talked to 5 or 6 different people, and maybe they're a little bit more confused now. And then they get to me, and then, you know, different lenders, and things just aren't as cohesive. But building an alliance together and presenting that to clients, and I'll get into more detail on how we do that in the call, I believe is something that will set us apart from the next guy over. Okay, so stick with me through the call. I don't think we're going to take quite an hour. We'll do some Q&A at the end, and then after the call, I encourage you all to please send me an email, call, text, whatever you want to do, and let's individually set up some time to talk about this in a deeper level, to see if an alliance together works for us both. You know, our relationship is important. It's what drives our business. And I think starting there before anything else is what's going to set us apart in this industry going forward. Okay. So agenda is our welcome. We did that. Brian spoke a little bit. I'm going to talk about the benefits of an alliance, forming an alliance, and the benefits of that alliance to your client. After that, we'll do some Q&A, and then we can talk about next steps. So the benefits of a powerful alliance, not just an alliance, but a powerful alliance. I'm just going to go through the list and then we'll talk about it. If you guys have any questions during this, please put it in the chat. And then if it's something that I need to address right away, Mike will let us know. If not, then we can address it at the end of the presentation. So what are the benefits of forming a powerful alliance with a real estate agent and a loan officer, preferably you and me? Well, I can tell you what I commit to that alliance if we choose to work together in that capacity. I commit to 24/7 availability. I've said that on probably every call I've ever done, is that I am available to you guys and your clients, evenings, weekends. Real estate doesn't sleep. I know we have to, but I understand that it is a fast moving industry and transactions can go and come just like that. And we need to be able to answer clients' questions and produce results quickly for them to be competitive. So I commit to 24/7 availability, same day responses. Even if it's 10 o'clock at night, if your client's worried about something, I always tell them, please don't go to bed worried. I've been there. It's awful. There's no need. I can probably answer your question or at least give you something that will put your mind at ease during the transaction. There's a lot of stress and tension that can build in a transaction, and people have varying levels of anxiety, and I get that. I'm empathetic to it. I have my own anxieties, and the worst thing that we can do is have someone be, constantly concerned when it's something I can probably help them get resolution for quickly. Zoom meetings, anytime you guys have your clients, I'm licensed in the state of California, as you guys are licensed in the state of California. And so I know we also just focus a lot on our communities, but I do have a lot of you that are in Southern California and on up in some more northern parts of California. And I get that we can't meet in person. I'm available on Zoom anytime, evenings, weekends, let me know. My computer is always on. And you'll always get consistent updates from me from the very first call from our client that we have through closing and even after closing, if the situation calls for it. Another benefit of creating an alliance together is we can present to people that we have a combined experience amount of how much time. Well, I've been in the business for 18 years. Well, the industry for 20. In mortgage for about 18, going on 18 this March. If you've been in the industry for 1 year, that's okay. We have a 19-year combined experience level there. If you've been in the industry for 10 years, then we've got 28 years. If you've been in it for 30, then we've got 48 years. I mean, that kind of thing, people talk about that in other industries, 30 years of combined experience. You see it a lot on attorney advertisements. Well, we should be advertising that as well because it's important. We've lived through a lot, especially I know I have in these last 18 years in the mortgage industry, been through a lot, seen a lot, been able to, go with the ebbs and flows of the industry as it constantly changes, and presenting that to clients that you and I are together we have all this experience will set us apart. Cross referrals. Now, I talked about this when I was at a previous company, and I had let you guys know that if I referred someone over to you, you would have to take about 35% of your commission and pay back as a referral fee to that company. I'm happy to say that Rocket Mortgage does not have that fee. They will provide me with a few leads a day if I want to take them. And by taking them, if the person that I'm pre-approving does not have a real estate agent, and I think they'll be a good fit with you in your area of expertise, then I can refer them over to you, and you do not have to pay anything out of your commission to Rocket Mortgage at all. And I think that is incredible. Our income is already kind of like what's happening in the industry, especially for you guys, and messing around with that is just, I'm not a fan of it. So I was really impressed that they don't do that. So cross referral, you guys are giving me business. Loan officers are historically not as, it's not as likely that a loan officer is going to meet somebody that's not pre-approved. I'm sorry, that loan officers are going to meet somebody that doesn't already have an agent. So normally, you're referring to me, but with Rocket, because we're so big and the name is so well recognized and people do go online and fill out a pre-approval form and get a very quick response, There is more of a likelihood that I'm going to receive leads from buyers or sellers even that don't already have an agent. So an alliance with me would provide you access to potential leads, purchase, or maybe listing that you may not get elsewhere. Enhance customer experience. When our clients, our mutual clients, sees the two of us or the three of us, however many of your team is that we would work with, see us and the way we work together, it gives them the confidence. They know that, wow, well, if Jodie's been in this 18 years and you've been in this however many years, or, if you're new and we don't want to have to talk about years, but, and they work together for this long, then, something must be legitimate there. Anytime you've got that kind of history, it speaks to your commitment level, it speaks to your experience. And then that just translates to overall better customer experience. Forming an alliance, how do we do that? So it's not just, oh, well, I'll call you anytime, you call me anytime. We got to take it deeper than that. And, going into 2024, I really want us to focus on this year, our alliances with each other and how we can grow our business from that. Collaborative client events. That's the biggest, most important part of this. Again, like I mentioned before, we present a united front in front of clients. We educate them together, answer questions. We provide valuable information as a team. Remember, with an alliance in front of people, they see us as a team. Two heads are better than one, and that's true, especially in this industry. How do we do that? We do seminars, first-time home buyer seminars if you want, or just home buyer workshops, however you want to approach it, whatever your business looks like or what you want it to look like. We can do webinars, podcasts, sharing social media posts. There's an agent that he's not with EXP, but that I worked with a lot last year, and he is on Facebook constantly, and I call him all the time. I'm like, I thought you just closed a deal last week. He does a lot of cash buyers, but I'm like, I thought you just closed one last week. No, this is a brand new one. He did 47 transactions in 2022. He's legitimate. He gets a lot of business just by that exposure. And then when I share his information on my Facebook and social media, then I get, a few comments. Oh, who is this person? What area? That kind of stuff. So, and it's free, right? We're not paying anybody to advertise. We're doing it for each other. So sharing social media posts is important. Something that I've been thinking about for a while is when you guys go to your listing appointments or buyer appointments, if you're being interviewed, or even if it's someone that you already know is going to work with you, but we can never take that for granted. People can leave us at any moment. People can cancel our buyer brokerage agreements. They can take their loan elsewhere. So how do we, as presenting a united front, how do we make that even more impactful? I am happy to join your buyer presentations or your listing presentations. If you do it on Zoom, of course, that's very easy. But even if you go to someone's house and it's local and I can physically make the drive, I'm happy to. If I can show up with already prepared financials, examples of, well, if you list your house with Mike for this amount, and he's given me your net to seller, here's how much money you would have, here's what you can afford, general numbers, and I can already present solutions for them, as opposed to them asking you questions, something like, well, if I sell the house, I'm not sure I'm going to have enough money to buy another house, so I don't know, what we want to do is provide solutions constantly. And if I can join you in those meetings with the financials already prepared, I think that that's definitely something that will set you apart from maybe the agent that's coming in later that day for their listing presentation, and they show up. Remember, you and I have already presented. We've got the financial solutions there, but this next agent showing up to do a listing presentation, maybe before or after us, and they've got the sellers asking them questions that maybe that agent can't answer because they're like, well, I'll talk with my lender and see what the options might be for you. Well, okay, thank you. But then they leave. And now it's like, well, I'm probably going to go with Jodie and Mike because they already gave me the solutions. They look well put together, very organized. I can tell they're a team. I have two people on my side. I'm just going to go with them. I am happy to do that with you guys. I just need a little bit of heads up. and some numbers, and I'll prepare what I can and be any kind of support I can be for those types of appointments. I don't think many lenders do that, if any, and I think it's important. Establish open communication. So, you know, with the partnership with real estate agents and loan officers, you know, do we ever want to give bad news? No, we don't. But are there challenges to every loan that we get? Yeah, for the most part, there's always going to be some little something. Nothing is ever perfect. You know, if it is perfect, then you get real lucky. But normally there's going to be some kind of little hiccup somehow, some way, whether it's an HOA issue or maybe gap of employment we didn't know about or something like that. How do we overcome that? You and I have to have open communication. The foundation of what we do is relationships, not transactional. And I think that that's gotten a bit missed here lately, especially in the real estate, or I'm sorry, the interest rate environment we've been in. People are looking at real estate more as a transaction, right? But it goes a lot past that. It is a transaction, of course, but it's also, there's an emotional side of it, whether it's the stress of it or the excitement of it, that that we have to be sensitive to. And you know, I'm not just an interest rate. I'm much more than that. You're not just how much can you take off your commission to sell my house. You're much more than that. But you and I having honest and open communication is going to translate to our clients, joint clients, that we know what we're doing, but we have to have that together. Nice, respectful, honest, open communication. You know, I look at partners that I want to work with, and I'm definitely big on communication, but I also, there's a respect level that we have to have with each other. And that means we have to put egos aside. You know, no one in this transaction's better or worse. We are equal partners in this. What can we do to reach our common goal? So open communication is important. We have to have that commitment to each other. Understanding each other's roles, huge. You know, there's gray area a lot of time where, you know, maybe you as the real estate agent, you want to present to your client that you're of value, that you didn't just, you know, show them a house, get the contract, and then leave them. And then, you know, whatever happens, happens. You want to constantly be, you know, communicating with them. And sometimes you can tend to want to get involved in the loan process. And if the loan officer is asking for that help, then yeah, by all means help. But there can be times where, and I have had this experience more recently, where there's maybe some issues with the interest rate. And then I've had the real estate agent kind of butting heads with me about pricing maybe, or interest rate, or well, this or that, or whatever, you know, and then they're trying to quote the customer interest rates, which you guys technically shouldn't be doing unless you're licensed to do that. I see real estate agents all the time posting interest rate quotes online, and it just makes me cringe, because I'm like, well, first of all, you have no way to even know if that's an accurate rate. You're not licensed, so, you know, don't do that. Just like I'm not going to go out there and try to get listings because I'm not a licensed real estate agent. I don't know everything about California contracts, addendums. I know the basics of what I need to know to do my job effectively, but I'm not going to get bogged down in the minutia of every page of every disclosure. That's your job, and that's what you are an expert at, and I'll be an expert at the loan part of it. But understanding each other's roles, I think, is very important. By forming an alliance, we already know what our roles are. We've worked together. We're comfortable. We understand if your client has an issue with their loan or anything, you know, send them back to me. Just like I've had people ask me contract questions, and I say, that's not my area. I don't want to misinform you. Please, let's call your agent together. Let's call together, of course, and we'll ask the questions. And that puts people more at ease. Referring trusted professionals. So, you know, back in the day, it was a lot easier to refer, you know, like I could refer home insurance all the time. Well, now that's more difficult to do because a lot of insurance companies have exited California. But, you know, why can't you and I, as our alliance, go out and build that alliance with, you know, family attorneys, title agents, insurance agents, home inspectors? I put appraisers on there, but that's not for me because I cannot communicate with appraisers. I put that on there for you in case, for example, you have a sale where someone passed away and they need to know what the property is worth. You know, you can have an alliance with an appraiser. Again, I cannot talk to appraisers. It's never going to happen. Don't ask me to. It's a compliance issue. But family attorneys, I think, is definitely a good partnership to look into, because that's something that I think we don't think about as much in our business. But family attorneys, estate attorneys, there's things always moving in people's lives, and I think that's a really great way to build partnership and obviously to get referrals out of it. In forming an alliance, we would provide weekly updates for each other. Now, this is mostly with loans in process. Now, of course, I would love to talk with you guys every week. And remember, starting February 13th is when I restart my 10 at 10 on Tuesdays. So it's 10 minutes at 10 a.m. every Tuesday. It can go past 10 minutes if we want, but it's just 10 minutes. Basically, you guys call in. I'm going to give you some quick little market updates, something to help you have some more tools in your belt when you're out in the market that week. What's the latest news that's been out there, so you don't have to get bogged down in where are interest rates, because people will ask you. You know, my 10 at 10 on Tuesday is going to give you that information. We'll do Q&A after. If you've got a challenging loan, maybe elsewhere, and you want to talk about it with me, that's my weekly update for you guys, just as a general market update. But if we've got a loan in process, first of all, you're probably going to hear from me more than once a week, but at minimum once a week. Now, pre-approval is probably once a week, but loan in process with a contract, we're probably going to talk every day, if not every couple of days, keeping each other informed. I'll keep you informed on the mortgage side of it, and you can keep me informed if your client wants to maybe switch properties or cancel or something like that. Doing that, I think, is crucial. Updates on loan approvals, property options. You know, for example, maybe you can't afford a single family home right now, maybe in the future. So let's start with a townhouse or a condo or something like that. Any challenges that come up, we can maintain transparency, and that will help us facilitate decision-making that will benefit the client, number one, right? Of course, it's going to benefit us, because if our clients win, we automatically win. Okay, benefits to your clients. So we talked about the benefits to each other. Now, what's the benefit to your client? How do they benefit from our alliance? Streamlining the home buying process. Streamlining the home buying process. You and I know what to expect. We know that if we face any challenges together, and the likelihood that we will, just because of the nature of the industry, we already know that we've got the support. And that ultimately translates into a better experience for your client. It helps them feel calm, reassured that we have their best interests at heart, top of mind, constantly throughout, from first conversation, even past closing. Effective communication, they'll benefit from that, because we're ensuring that all of us have talked consistently. We're on the same page. So me, you, and the clients will, you know, have phone calls together, Zoom calls together, whatever we need to do. If we see a challenge come up, property issue, whatever comes up, we're going to be able to have constant and effective communication, and that is going to reduce the risk of any miscommunication and delays, and worst case scenario, canceled or a transaction that falls through. Another benefit to your client is Rocket Mortgage's verified approval letter. I love this. It actually takes it past a pre-approval, of course. You know, the first thing is pre-qual, which doesn't really mean much other than just, it's my best guess, maybe they'll qualify. But a pre-approval, of course, probably looked at a credit report, but it's still me looking at this, running underwriting based on my information input. Verified approval letter means that that client has been fully underwritten credit, income, and assets. And we give them a verified letter, and it says on a box in the very front of the form that this is verified, credits verified, income verified, assets verified. An underwriter has reviewed the documents, a physical underwriter. I'm not talking about just running DU, desktop underwriting, which is automated underwriting that every lender uses. This is past that. This is as if you had a contract and you got to close in 20 days. So offering the verified approval letter, that allows us to expedite the process, underwrite up front. And then now we just have the challenge of, is the property sufficient collateral? Is it in good shape? You probably already know that because you've done your due diligence on that part. Also, if we provide that letter, a verified approval letter with credit, income, and assets verified, if something happens on the loan and we can't close because of maybe an error that we made, we will pay the buyer $1,000 if we can't close. Now, if they cancel, then no, but a verified approval letter is very important. How else does our alliance together benefit your clients? Enhance customer service. Now, we talk about customer service all the time because, again, this is a relationship business, not transactional. That's how we need to work it. And everyone says, well, I've got great customer service and I operate at a high level. You have to be, or you can't be successful. But there's a lot of us out there, not us who's on this call together, but there's a lot of people out there in this industry that aren't successful because they think they have high customer service levels, but they really don't, right? Our alliance together is going to force that. It's going to come naturally because we already, you and I already work together on a high level, but partnering together is going to enhance that. It's going to raise our customer service to an even higher level, resulting in a better client experience and increased referrals for us both. When clients leave a transaction like it's done, they're happy, they hear someone talk about wanting to buy or sell or refinance, they're going to say, hey, you should call Jodie and Mike. I worked with them. And I mean, they were twins in this transaction the whole time. They were always there for me together. I never had to call one, wait for the other. It was great. It was incredible. And you should give them a call. That's going to happen more often than not. Holistic financial perspective. Another benefit to your client from our alliance is that it ensures that the financial aspects of their home purchase are well integrated. I've got plenty of years of experience. I spent a lot of time in the banking world, so I'm familiar with, financial planning. I'm not, any type of, I don't have licenses. I'm not investments or anything like that, but I have a very great basic understanding of it and how to talk with people about avoiding taxable events and how to maybe strategize to reduce their taxable liabilities, maybe not cashing in stocks, maybe doing a 401k loan. There's all sorts of different, things that I can provide. But our alliance together is going to help ensure that the client has received all of the best advice that they can for their financial transaction. Something else I've been thinking about a lot lately, especially with the interest rate environment we've been in, and rates are coming down, so that's a good thing, is for the past year and a half or so when rates started creeping up and then they shot up to, over 7%, rate sensitivity was at an all-time high for most people. And I started feeling like, and most loan officers will tell you that this is how they felt. I know I talked to a lot of them all day, and we all feel the same way, that everybody became so rate sensitive that they didn't think about anything past an interest rate, right? Oh my God, the rates are so high, and they lost sight of other very important aspects of the transaction. And I thought, well, how can I set myself apart so that people aren't looking at me as just an interest rate? The interest rates they are what they are right now. Any lenders, we're always going to be competing. Maybe one day I'll be a little bit better, and maybe the next day somebody else will be a little bit better. So we have to get past what is just the interest rate. That also goes back to knowing our roles, right? So I have had in the past where real estate agents will try to have me compete with them before they'll even send a client to me. They want to know the rate first, and that's actually, I think, probably a backwards way of doing it. So if we can set ourselves apart, how do we do that? Somehow, with our alliance, we have to work together to show that our clients that on the most expensive transaction that you'll probably ever have in your life, hundreds of thousands of dollars you're about to spend, this is not the time to go cheap. Okay, this is not the time to take risks. This is not just a transaction. This is your home. What does it mean to you to be a homeowner? It's far past interest rate. We got to know what loan program. We got to know what type of product to put you in. Is it an ARM? Is it a 30-year fixed? Probably 30-year fixed right now. I think risk level, think people should not be taking, super strong risks right now. But and how do we set us apart so that people are not looking just at that? Just like for you, they're not going to be coming to you saying, "Hey, Mike, I want you to list my house, but give me the cheapest commission that I got to pay you, man, because nothing else matters to me. I got this guy over here who'll do it for X amount. If you can't do it for that, then I'm going to go with him." Well, is that really in their best interest? You get what you pay for. That's, you and I didn't make that up. That's a saying that's been for generations and generations, because it's true. You get what you pay for. If you want, a filet, you're probably not going to go to Taco Bell to get a filet, right? You're going to pick the right restaurant to get the dinner you want, but you need to also get the best quality food, right? To sustain yourself for high energy and performance. So same thing. Our alliance together, I think, is going to help get people looking past the commission that they pay you and even the interest rate that I offer. And I think that that'll help us be able to have more business together with less stress of someone just leaving in the middle of it, which does happen from time to time. So we have to really show our value, and building an alliance together, I think, does that. Okay, Q&A. Let's see, what time is it? Oh, okay, we got about 20 minutes. Mike, do we want to?
No, they can't ask any questions.
No questions.
Well, let's see.
Okay,
That
let's
may
see.
be a little harsh. We don't have
Oh, I don't see any questions right now.
that
Okay.
in the chat, but
How does Rocket differentiate itself with its competitors, especially when it comes to product types, rates, and services? Does Rocket Mortgage have branches in San Francisco, Bay Area? Nice flyers in terms of collaborations. Okay, exposure. Yep. Okay. Great. Mosen, hi. Thank you so much for your question. So let's start with the first one. You said, how does Rocket differentiate itself with competitors, especially when it comes to product types, rates, and services? Okay, so product types, rates, service. Verified approval letter, I think, is probably the main aspect of what sets Rocket Mortgage apart, is the verified approval letter. And I know that other lenders, I know because I've worked at other lenders, I know that they say, well, we'll do upfront underwriting, yeah, other lenders do that as well. But the difference between Rocket and the place I used to work at is speed and accuracy. So if I put a verified approval letter request in on a loan application by 7 p.m., say on a Monday, that is going to come back to me by 9 a.m. the very next day. Now, we're talking overnight. And you guys remember, maybe if you were on my call with Chris, my new manager at Rocket, I even said to her, feel free to chime in because I'm still new here. Is that really is that an accurate timeline? Yes, it is. I've already seen it happen. Very fast turnaround time. Now, if there's a challenge with the loan or something like that, there's a hiccup, then we need to address that ahead of time. But speed and accuracy, I don't think Rocket would put up, we'll give you $1,000 if they felt like our underwriters were just doing a sloppy job. So they do have underwriters working evenings and even on the weekends. If you guys remember, Chris mentioned on a Saturday, she sent in for one and had it back within 45 minutes. A physical underwriter underwriting that. You're not going to, I haven't seen that anywhere. Most of the time ops is closed on the weekends. Forget it. You're not going to get in touch with anybody. Another benefit with Rocket versus another lender is the culture that I have seen from the, I think 200 plus loan officers that are, this team that we have with Brian. If I'm wrong, Brian, if he's still here, can tell me the number's different, but I think that's right. On teams all weekend long, people are working. I mean, 6 a.m. on a Saturday through 11, 12 o'clock on a Saturday night. Loan officers are constantly on a Teams chat. If they've got a challenge, somebody's going to come in here and say, this is how you fix it. If they need some ideas, someone's going to come in or something. And it's very collaborative and it's very supportive, incredibly supportive. So loan officers, from in Texas will help me in California with the question if I've got it and I can't find the answer anywhere. That does not exist anywhere else that I've ever been. So can I get in touch with an underwriter over the weekend? yeah, probably, or at least some senior manager is going to be able to reach out and help me with any challenge that I have. As far as products and rates, our rates are very competitive. I looked at an FHA rate yesterday at about 5.75, no points. I mean, you can't tell me that's not competitive. We're in the fives on FHA. That's phenomenal. So I think our rates are very competitive. Rocket's not the #1 lender, and hasn't been the #1 lender for years and years because the rates are high. Now, before I left the previous place, I was able to see market share of lenders everywhere, and the different matrix of or I'm sorry, measurements of different lenders and judged on volume, units, all this. Rocket was consistently #1 across the board. And that was one of the things that solidified my decision to join, because I thought, well, if they're top producing, or not top producing necessarily, but #1 in every area, I'm going to be successful here. And I think that translates to clients already being familiar with the brand. So you don't have to sell that. And knowing that we have competitive rates, of course, we don't have to sell that. Products, I am really focused on a 30-year fixed right now. Conforming arms are not that great. To get an arm that's even lower than our 30-year fix, you've got to go in the jumbo world. And a lot of times people can't qualify for that. So I think that 30-year fix is probably the way to go right now. Again, taking the risk out of the process. There's a lot of people that are fine with risk, but first-time home buyers, I really don't like seeing them in anything other than a 30-year fix. We just saw what happened, and nobody thought that was going to happen. Nobody thought in 2020 we'd be at 3.5%, and then in 2022, 2 years later, I'd be quoting 7% all the way through 2024. Nobody thought that. So if you had an ARM previously, then you had to refinance it during that time where interest rates were really high because your ARM was going to adjust even higher, then all that risk you took, you lost it, because now you're paying a much higher interest rate. So 30-year fix is the way to go, and I think Rocket understands that as well. Does Rocket have branches in San Francisco? I am your Bay Area loan officer. Branches, not so much. We are all remote. It helps keep our costs down, so no overhead. But of course, I'm licensed anywhere, but San Francisco is 30 minutes from my house. So if you need me to meet there somewhere in person, let me know. Happy to do it. Nice flyers in terms of collaboration is okay with EXP and RESPA to co-market. Yes. Co-marketing, co-branding is free unless we print. When we go to printing advertisements and marketing materials, then we have to look at RESPA and say, okay, we got to share in the cost here to stay compliant. But if I email you over a flyer and you print it yourself, then that's fine. You're probably not printing, 1,000 of them. But if you and I do like a joint mail out together, postcards or something like that, then we have to share in the cost of that. But EXP does allow that, and of course Rocket does as well. Rocket Mortgage, do they have office in Fresno area or Central Valley? Again, we don't actually have physical offices in the area. Again, keeping overhead down and costs down. But we, I can help in the Central Valley. We've got loan officers. We've got one in San Jose, and I think one in Los Altos. And then we've got some in Southern California, like the San Diego, Orange County area. But if you want to work with me and you're in Fresno or the Central Valley, then I'm happy to talk with you. We do Zoom. We can meet halfway, whatever, however you want to work it out.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah.
So even people don't meet loan agents in person anymore. That sounds like an absolute statement, but it is really true. Mm-hmm. And even when Jodie and I were working together in San Jose, when she was in Campbell and I was in San Jose, I don't think she met any of my clients in person, because we just don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
All of it is done. It's uploaded. It doesn't really matter where your loan agent is. And the thing about Rocket Mortgage, and before that Quicken, this is a real estate agent's perspective. Many of our clients in the past would choose, in the old days, Quicken Loans and then Rocket Mortgage. And as a real estate agent, we would go, oh, no, not Rocket Mortgage, right? Oh, no, not Quicken. Well, what was going on here? Well, first of all, the client had picked them because they had the best rates and the best programs. Why did we make a noise? Because they had the loan agent was back east. The loan agent was in the Midwest, and they're in a different time zone. And getting in touch with them, we'd be calling them, then we'd realize, oh my gosh, they're gone. And so when I heard that, I mean, they've always had great loan products. That was never the problem, but they never had the local people that you could talk to until recently. And since I worked with Jodie for a long time, I'm telling you, she's a really good loan agent. And when I found out that she's with Rocket Mortgage and she would be the contact person, and we wouldn't have to call, New York or someplace like that, worrying about the time, it seemed like a slam dunk. So whether you're in San Diego or in Fresno, it really doesn't matter. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. If she were next door to you, she would still be most likely talking to people on the phone. They would be uploading things. It would still be, it wouldn't matter. That's my take.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, we, especially since COVID, I mean, even when I was at the bank working, people did not come in to meet with me most of the time. If it was someone that came in to meet with me, they were probably older and did not want to do things with technology, and they wanted everything to be in paper. But for the most part, people don't have time anymore to, take time out of their day, and then their evenings are so precious. They got to work with their families and things like that. So I find it very convenient to do Zoom calls, and people seem to be very responsive to that. Let's see. What kind of programs? Let's see. Kit is asking, what kind of programs, strategies do you have for trade up buyers? Any co-branded marketing materials for trade up buyers? So Kit, I'm imagining that you're maybe talking about maybe a seller that's going to sell their house and then buy something bigger, more expensive, something like that. So a strategy that I would incorporate, you and I, oh, cool. If you and I have an alliance together, a strategy would be for me to present financial solutions to them as you're presenting your, why they should work with you as the real estate agent. Like a listing presentation. I can be there. I can be on Zoom, however you want, depending on the location. And go ahead and present to them, this is the solution to your problem, right? You have a problem. You don't want to live here anymore. You want to live somewhere else. Here's the financial solution. Here's how we can make this happen. If you sell the house at this price, you and I will work together to develop those numbers. And then I can give those solutions so that they know, oh, actually, this is something I can do. I didn't realize that's the payment. Oh, I can afford that. No problem. Co-branded marketing materials. Yes, I have over 40 flyers that we can look at together, and then you can pick what you like that best aligns with your business goals, and I can send them over to you. Let's see.
Yeah, that'd be great, because I'm about to start on an area around where I live where a lot of people from your neck of the woods bought like in 2014, 2015 for 400, 500,000. And they're selling these right now for 1.1, 1.2. And even the ones that are rentals, hey, do you want to trade up and get something else,
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you'll send me an email, then I will write you back, and then we can set up a time to take a look at the flyers together. I'll just share my screen, and then you can see what you like, and then we can go from there. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Awesome. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see. Alina, do you have offices in San Diego? How can I get in touch with loan officer closer to San Diego? I don't know the loan officers in Southern California, but I'm sure that we could probably figure out who they are if you want to work with someone local down there.
My suggestion is, particularly if you're on my team, to reach out to Jodie. And start there, because I trust her. That's the reason that she's here, and other lenders are not. And I don't think that the physical location is at all an issue.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then Jodie, hi, this is Elena.
Hi.
What is your contact information, or how do we get your
Oh,
contact?
sure. Yes, so it is my, here,
Here,
let me
one,
just,
I'll look for it and put it in the,
okay, yeah.
yeah,
we can put it in the little chat there.
yeah, give me a second.
Okay.
Usually we do that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Copy here, and I can put this here. There's the QR code. If you want to scan that, it'll take you to my website. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Here we are. Mosen, thank you for, okay.
I got
You're welcome. One more question. What time span do you see first time homeowners and second time homeowner purchasing again? It used to be 5 years to 7, 15.
Oh, the QR code.
You know, I think the average is between 5 and 7 years that people stay in their homes. But I think we're probably seeing that time frame expanded just because people that bought in, I know you're talking about previously, but people that bought in, 2020, 2021, the first part of 22 are sitting on these really amazing interest rates. And, while they may want to buy up, they're probably not selling, right? They might rent that property out. So I think it might go a little past 7 years, but I think on average it's probably 5 to 7, maybe going to be closer to 7 to 10. But people that bought before 2020, those rates, 2016, 17, 18, 19, those rates were in the 4s. Maybe you'd find an FHA in the 5s, depending on credit score, but those rates were in the 4s, and maybe their arms were in the 3s. So those people, especially if they have an arm, then, they're going to refinance now, then yeah, their rate's going to be a lot higher. But yeah, the trend I think would be that you'll see people in their homes a little bit longer just because of that, the interest rate environment that we just went through.
It varies a lot by location and the kind of house.
Mm-hmm.
Condominiums have a quicker turnover, townhomes not quite as much, single family homes less so. As you go up the scale, it changes. And it changes by city and zip code, and it's just.
Yeah. Empty nesters staying put. Well, not necessarily. I think if for an empty nester, that's a big life change, right? When you're, everyone's gone now and it's just you or you two or you three or however many you got. I think that people would probably downsize. I don't think those people are as interest rate sensitive as they're looking at maybe a house that's maybe just too big for them now. They don't want the maintenance. The maintenance cost of that is, can outweigh the benefit of having a low interest rate. So maybe they would see the benefit in downsizing potentially. So don't ever assume that people aren't, willing to do it. And we do see people even now that had 3.5% interest rates refinancing into rates at 6.5%, 7%. Because during the pandemic, they took out a lot of consumer debt to survive. Maybe they lost their job for a year and racked up a lot of debt. So people are saying, well, yeah, that 3.5% is great, but these, 18, 20, 30% interest rate on my credit cards or installment loans, whatever I've got, that's way too high. They're pulling money out of their house, paying that consumer debt off. Yeah, of course the interest rate's higher, but overall it's a better financial position. Their blended rate, if you will, on a mortgage at 3%, but $100,000 in consumer debt at 20%, their blended rate on what they pay in overall interest is incredibly high. So they're making the decision to do cash out refinancing or take out home equity lines of credit to pay off debt. So again, just don't assume people aren't going to do it. You never know. Cool. Well, I think that is just about time. If anyone has any other questions, put them in the chat or feel free to email me. I think next steps would be if you aren't closing 4 or 5 transactions a month, then let's work together. It's not going to hurt you. I can tell you that. It's not going to be painful, and it's not going to take any business away from you. Especially, in the beginning of our relationship, we're seeing that it's working. We're jiving really well together. And I can trust you with my clients, then I can start referring right away, just like you trusting me with yours. It's a mutual benefit. So call, text, email, let me know. And I'd like to set up, individual calls with whoever's interested. And
Let me make one
best year yet.
One final comment, maybe. I know that a lot of agents are looking for things to post on social media, looking for things to put into a newsletter, looking for content. Now, most of you have heard my ranting about you don't want to just post real estate stuff all the time because you'll annoy people and they won't want to follow you. But if you're looking for something useful, then the best way to do it is to reach out to Jodie, because she's got lots of information that would make good for social media posts and newsletters and all of that. And you don't want to have to reinvent the wheel. You know, you want to use the materials that it's easy and that it's quality. And that's my final thought. All right.
Love it. Here's, I'm just gonna put this in the little chat too. This is just one of those flyers
Oh,
to address, if you guys want to, like, this is great content, right? You could take this flyer, copy and paste, whatever, or just post it. It speaks to the interest rate environment over the last few decades. I'm just giving you an example of something that I can help you with. I know it's a flyer, but you can turn it into social media posts. I also have about 150 social media posts already written that I'm happy to, tailor to whatever you need and send over to you. Quite a bit.
and Jodie's going to be back, and we're going to do FHA and go through some of the loan products under 6% interest rate. I want to hear more about that. I'm
Mhm.
sure many of you have clients that would want to hear about that.
Absolutely.
And how understanding how all that works. So assuming that's all we've got for today, I want to thank Jodie for enlightening us again. And next week, I guess we'll see you briefly when we talk about, I'll say it, next week, we're going to be doing a session on buying and selling real estate that involves a trust or an entity, like an LLC. And Jodie's going to talk a little bit, I think, about the loan aspects. I'm going to talk about how to fill out the forms, and our friends at Chicago Title are going to talk about how escrow and title handle those issues and what you need to know so that everything goes smoothly. Stay tuned. That's next week.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Have a great weekend.
All
Give me a
right.
call.
Jodie.
All right, talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much.
Bye.